What up, though? My afro. You know what, y'all? I'm old fashioned. Got a little smuts. That's better. I'm old fashioned, y'all. I'm is. I'm old fashioned. I'm old fashioned. Nowadays, being old fashioned is called nostalgic. It's as if it's a thing that comes along every now and then. Oh, you're old fashioned. I'm like, yeah, I'm old fashioned. You know what I'm saying? I like afros, natural hair. I like natural looking women. And and I'm gonna say something about the ladies. I mean, I'm not dating right now, because I choose not to go out. Um, stuff online. I just choose not to be too active. Although every now and then somebody will be like, "Hey, let's go and do something," and I might go do it. But I don't actively seek out, you know, the females. I find that my old fashionedness and the new fashion, even on older women, is convoluted, is contrived, is constricting. You know, my belief system, my belief system is becoming more and more rare, and it's not because I'm getting older. My belief system is becoming more rare because the world is becoming more aggressive towards the perception of in the outlook of dating, of women, of the process of dating. Process. So the process used to be you meet a woman, or if you're a woman, a man, and you talk to each other, and then you pretty much match schedules, and you meet at some place, some neutral place. And if you're the guy, most of the time you know take her out to eat somewhere. Doesn't have to be fancy. It didn't back then, but now there's a stigma to it. Now there's a if he doesn't take me out for the cheddar biscuits, at Red Lobster, then he doesn't qualify. And I think that is so stupid. Uh, because men, I mean, why are you going to spend $30 on for one? I mean, why are you going to get $100 bill and never see that girl again? She doesn't call you back. She's not interested. She just wanted to go to Red Lobster with the cheddar biscuits for free. That's it. She ain't interested in you. Not at all. Not one bit. She just like, sure. And this has happened to me so many times. This is why I don't take women to Red Lobster. Uh, I have hit the Olive Garden now, but I've had a couple women take me out. You know, and that was cool. One was not interested in me. She wanted to be friends. And another one was interested in me, and that was years ago. And we dated for a short time, and then she went on her own way. And that was cool because, truthfully, I'm used to women taking me out. But it, that was because, for one, I end up being with those particular women for years. So I got used to them, taking me places and doing stuff. They wanted to go out. They wanted to let's go do something. I'd be like, all right. I wouldn't say, oh, I don't have no money, because I had my own, but they wanted to go somewhere, so they would go ahead and pay. And on the opposite, if I said, hey, let's go out, I knew that I was paying. So that's just kind of the way that was. But nowadays, it's the guy pays, and that's it. And then the woman gets her way, and then she dips out. I've actually had one woman on a date. This happened years ago. Uh, years ago. Took her to a place not far from here, down the street. And, we ate. And then after she got done eating, she was like, so what are you trying to do here? And I was like, well, I'm trying to get to know you. Never heard from her again. She basically told me right there and then that it wasn't going to happen. And that was it. Like, I was like, wow, you just told me right there. But like I said, this was some 8, 9 years ago. And I found that to be just so cruel. But, and the thing about it is, well, there's no but to that. It was cruel. The thing about it is, she could have told me before she agreed to go out with me that she had no interest in me whatsoever. But she wanted a free meal, you know? And like I said, I've had this happen before several times, and then I contact a woman, and then she doesn't contact me back. Now, when a woman takes me out to eat, I contact her back, you know. But a couple of years ago, about 4 or 5 years ago, took this woman out because this woman wanted to she wanted to do business with me. I was in school, so I was doing artwork. And she was like, I need a logo. So she was like, let's meet up at the so and so. And I ended up paying for the dinner. But I thought it was going to be offset by her purchasing my artwork. She never did. And then she contacted me again, you know, about the logo, but I figured it out. You just wanted to, me to keep taking you out to eat, and I didn't do it. So I just stopped dealing with her because she was a fraud. Like that was her game. You know what I'm saying? So it is weird. Like that's your game to act like you're going to do business with somebody. They take you out. They pay for the food. You go ahead and dip on them, and then call them back again a couple weeks later and say, "Hey, I'm still interested. Let's meet at this spot." Like that really did happen. Like, let's meet at this spot again, and I was just like, "Nah, you either purchase it or you don't." I sent her all of my drawings and was like, you either gonna purchase them or you're not. Like, I'm not gonna keep taking you out to eat. You crazy. And that was the end. Like, I never heard from her again. So, but I am old fashioned. This new hustle to get food out of a dude. Sometimes I'll just invite a woman out and I already know that I'm paying. I don't have a problem with that. I have a problem with the girls who act like they're interested in you and you know that they're not. Sometimes I would be like, shoot, I just want to look at you. So the pleasure I got out of eating with her was just that. Okay, I paid to have a conversation with a beautiful woman. People do that all the time. You know, uh, you want to see something young and beautiful. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna pay for it one way or another. So I would be like, hey, Miss 25, let me take you out for breakfast or something. And Usually you'd get a no, but sometimes you get a yes, especially out of women that young. And I've even dated women in that, I think she was 22, 23. So we dated for about months. It was interesting because it was an age paradigm. I was 20 years her senior. She didn't seem to care. She liked older men. She was like, I like my men older. Like, I don't like guys my age. So, you run into that a lot. But, and it works out good because older guys who are in their high 40s and 50s are going through a midlife crisis. So they're looking at 22, 23, 24-year olds all the way up to like 35. When you get into the 40 guys, they're like you're usually married to somebody at that age. But if you're single, you're not going to go out and track down a 40-year-old if you're having a midlife crisis. It just doesn't work that way. If you're having a midlife crisis, you're going to look at the 20s. You're barely going to scratch the surface of a 30. It just you're just not. They're good looking, but to get the whatever it is in you out, you're going to be looking at the 20s, and but the safe 20s. 22 is safe. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to dip too low because it already feels weird, but it's like, why do I even want to put up with somebody at this age? Especially if you have kids and they're grown. But nonetheless, it's just something in you that's like, I am all of a sudden attracted to this 22, 23-year old. And it's a fight. It's a fight because society says you're wrong. Society is like, you're a creep. You're creepy. It's just like the people who are saying that are usually not one, not men, and two, the women who are saying it probably have dated an older man before. So now that they're in their high 30s and 40s and spinsters and they're single, all of a sudden the younger women who are getting the attention that they used to have, they're so-called trying to protect them by calling older men creeps. Just like you were knocking down 40 and 50 years old when you were, 19, 20 years old, and now you're calling that same situation creepy. You know what I'm saying? It's creepy. It's not creepy. It's what happens. Everybody in the whole entire world does the same thing in every nationality. It's not creepy. It's the way it is. So there's that whole thing. But when you're having a midlife crisis, it just, people go out and buy sports cars and, they're older guys. That really, like, I really want a sports car. Like, I've been looking at the same car, same type of car, a Dodge Avenger. I've been looking at that car over and over. I even walked on the lot and price went out. I can't afford it. But nonetheless, I would love to have me a Dodge Avenger and a, 23-year-old sitting in the passenger seat. I would think that I'm a king. But those things don't last. You know, those situations don't last. And in reality, once you come out of your midlife crisis and you get stepped on, you know, because young people, they're moving all kind of ways that older people really don't are not interested in. So once you come out, get your head about the clouds, and say, okay, this is not for me, then you start looking at women 40, 35, or 35 and up. And you might land one or two, you know what I'm saying? And then narrow that down and just land one and say, okay, I'm going to marry this 40-year-old. She's got kids, you got kids, your kids are grown, it's all over. You're not going to have any kid, you're not expecting to have any kids. But nonetheless, you just kind of settle in for the long road. That's it. You're like, I'm with beautiful over here, and you have no interest in the younger. You have no interest And anyone, like your complete focus is on that relationship, and that's what happens. Like that's the reality. Once you get all of that out of you, then you're like, I'm done. I'm not chasing anyone. It costs too much. Young women are, they're really out there, and then you settle in, somebody in your age group, and you grow old together, and you move on to the next life. That's it. But the this newfangled dating, kind of, it's not hard for me to understand. It's hard for me to want to keep up with. That's what I mean by I'm old fashioned. I believe in a lot of old fashioned ways, but the women nowadays, even the older women, you have older women who are new fashioned. So that's strange. You know what I mean? You're an older woman, but you're new fashioned. You believe in dating and sleeping with several men at once. You got five guys that you're dating and you're sleeping with all of them. Nope. You believe in running around with thong underwear on in broad daylight in front of everybody at 45. Nope. You believe in turning up and being totally ungodly. No. I'm old fashioned. I wouldn't mind having me an old car, some nice wheels on it. You know what I'm saying? Nice little flat, a couple acres, and a dark skinned cutie to rub on and call it a day. But that's just not the way it's going to go for me. I might get the car, the house, and the acres. By the time the woman rolls around, she's going to look at me as a meal ticket, pretty much try to get me up out of my car, my house, and my acres. Cheat on me with somebody who's, 10 years younger than her, and then go to some judge and say it was all my fault, because I ran out of Viagra or something. Something stupid that women do nowadays. That's what I'm saying. I'm old fashioned. Like the new fashion system just doesn't help men. It's not for men. This new world is not for us. It's not. It's not made for us. It's made for us to fail. This new court system, this new belief, this new feminine power, it's completely weird. You know, this gay movement, they try to overpower you, transsexual, homosexual, whatever. They're doing it to try to overpower you. It's just like, I'm sorry, I'm old fashioned. I believe a man is a man is a man, a woman is a woman is a woman. I believe in a man and a woman should be together. I just believe in, straight marriages and stuff like that. I believe in marriage. Look at the marriage rate. 70% people aren't getting married. Yeah, it's not made. What up, Beaties? It's not made for men. It's not. It's not designed around the family. I mean, family orientation is going out the window. Look, when they took prayer out of schools, I knew it was on its way down. All these people are doing all these heinous crimes in schools. Never happened. And my peoples went to some of the roughest schools there were. You know what? There were fights, but that was it. Now, shoot. Our president stopped praying. It's just, yeah. Presidents took prayer out of the Constitution or whatever. This world is just not made to be productive according to God. Women are like, man, act like, yeah, 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 yeah. The women, you know, and I'm gonna tell you something, man. Like I got a beef with my neighbor who threatened to, do me physical harm. A woman. I don't like getting into it with women. I don't like arguing with them, but I have to think about it every day. When I think this woman draws on me, I'm gonna have to treat her like a man. I'm gonna have to eliminate this woman, her ability to do me any physical harm like a man. I'm gonna have to like a man, and I don't want to. I don't want to do that. I don't get off on that. I never did. And some women used to want me to beat them up, and I was like, it just hurt me to fight with somebody I love. I don't love my neighbor. I don't even know her like that, but we have a misunderstanding, and it's been, you know, I don't think it's getting any better. And that's a shame because I'm old fashioned. I would love to have me a, gorgeous somebody to call my own, somebody to protect and provide for. But this world is so screwed up that, you know, these women really look at the men as the enemy. And they really believe that they do no wrong. You would think this is only white women, but black women believe this too. They think that they can do no wrong, and they're just doing the. When I look on Instagram and I see these women with their bodies all out, like these women are absolutely naked, and I'm like, who told them that this was okay? And they just keep trying to one up each other, and they are 100% naked. Women enjoy chaos, right? Yeah, like see, I don't live with any stress right now. My life is very simple, and like I don't have a lot of stress. I don't worry about where somebody is at and who's laying on top of them. I don't care. I say, hey, have a good time. Get one in for me. I just don't have the energy to worry about what some woman's doing, cheating and who who she was with last night, and I have no desire for none of that. I'm almost not mad at these guys getting robots, even though I'm mad at these guys getting robots. But I get it. You know where the robot is. The robot's not gonna lie to you. Or the little dummy, chick that they're getting. I seen a story where this one guy had one for years. He had himself a little sex doll, and he was content with that sex doll. He was like, I'm good. And That's why you look young. Yeah, I tell you what, they stressed the heck out of my life. Thank you very much, and we'll keep looking young because your stress is. Yeah, I don't live with a bunch of stress, man. I know how much money I got in the bank. I'm okay. Um, I got food in my fridge. I'm good. I got plenty of water. All of my bills are paid. I just, my truck got gas in it. It's insured. I just don't live with a lot of stress. I don't like it. I don't like living like that. But this guy who had the sex doll for years. He also had it on. He was on YouTube talking about it, and some woman saw him, and she was like, "I think you're dope." Some older white dude too. You know how white people treat each other after they get so old, they throw each other away. They call each other trash. Black people don't do that because you know when we get older, we know that there's still sexiness. You know what I'm saying? Like you'll catch a 30-year-old with a 60-year-old woman, 30-year-old dude would have said, oh, yeah, that happens. It goes down. We don't look at our older women and go, you're done at 30. But that's what white people do. You know what I'm saying? White people do that. They're like, she's what? She's 35? She's done. That's why the divorce rate is so high. It's not because of black people, even though our divorce rate is high too, but it's mainly because of white people. Because they trade them in. They trade these women in. They're just like, you're, you're 30 now? Your eggs are, pretty much done. You're an egg cemetery, so not interested. And then they drop them, and these women get mad as fire. They get mad because they know that dude is gonna, especially if he got money, he's just gonna go ahead and find himself a little 19-year-old, and it's on and popping for him. And you know what? That little 19-year-old is gonna be like, yes, let's rock. I'll marry you. Because they know the numbers. And that older woman is going to take him to court and try to run him through the dang ringer. And you know what? He's going to be like, I don't care. I'll pay for the divorce. I'll pay for the alimony. Whatever. A lot of us used up white girls get a lot of old used up white girls get dumped. Yeah, they do. Then the women go for the black guys. Yeah, they do. They're figuring that out, Kardashians. Because black men will look at an older white women and be like, what's good? I done dated some older white women. They were great. They were spectacular. They were, oh my God, they were awesome. They were awesome. But I didn't want to be with a white woman. But they were great. Oh my goodness, they were great. You hardly got any arguments out of them. They had no problem giving you sex. They were like let's go. They were like, come on, let's go, buddy. Right here is where it's at. Oh my God, they are all over you. They take care of you. They are all over you. But they want you to get a job just like everybody else. They want you to be a good person. They don't want you to do all kind of crazy stuff. And sometime eventually they go right back to a white dude. But some of them will go ahead and lock down a black man and put a ring on it. Yeah, they're not my flavor. Yeah, yeah. I like really dark skinned, you know, like me and darker. I really, really adore it. But those women are they seem to be very promiscuous, and they because everybody wants to have sex with them. But see, they don't get it at a young age. Everybody wants to have sex with you. They don't want you. I wanted you, but you didn't want me because yeah, you didn't want me because they want to have sex with me because of my skin, but I'm low man on the totem pole. I'm not favored pretty much anywhere in America. I'm not favored. In the hood, I'm looked at as, a troublemaker. You know what I'm saying? When I go work at the job with the white people, I'm looked at as a troublemaker. There's nowhere that I could go where I'm favored, where I am the favored and I'm husband material. A woman has to make that up in her own mind because when she looks at the job market, when she looks at the job market or she looks at the marriage market and stuff, she's not looking for a dark skinned man, not until she gets older. When she hits 40 and she's done, yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, okay. You know what I'm saying? When she hits 40 and she's got 2 kids, 3 kids already, then she's, by 3 different guys. Then she's looking at you like, yeah, let's go. It's like, I wanted you when I was 25, you were 20. We could have had a whole bunch of beautiful darkies. You know what I'm saying? I had a plan, a whole plan mapped out. But that isn't what you wanted. You wanted to sleep with everyone. And now that you got three kids by three different now you want me? I, I'm sorry. I'm nah. I don't want you. You know what I'm saying? I don't. You know. You know. Or the older black women. Yeah, you've been ran through like, and the older black women, the older fashioned black women, I admire them because some of them had a husband. The husband passed on. You know, so you get your 55, 60s. You know what I'm saying? Those women who had a husband passed on, or he left them for some goofy reason, and you listen to the story, you're just like, oh, okay, you know, they think like you, but but you're like, because now that you're in your 50s, a 60-year-old is not something you can say, I'm going to spend the rest of my life with you. Not unless she's a dynamite 60-year-old. But when you hit your 50s, you're looking at her daughter. That's it. Her daughter might be 30. You dating her and her daughter comes over and you're just like, oh yeah. It's what it is. You're like, oh, this is what you looked like when you were 30? Woo! You know what I'm saying? Yeah, they do. You're like, that's because of all the stuff they put on their face. But you're just like, damn, you, you was built like that at 30. And the daughter knows you're looking at her. Like this one woman I was dating, she was 24. She was living with her mom, right? And the dude was dating her mom. He was 60 years old. So what she did one day, uh, well, this is what she did all the time. She would run around in her bras and panties. She had some, and she was 20. Oh my God. You should have seen how stacked this girl was. I was like, oh, and she was like, I run around with my bra and panties all the time. And she said one day her mom was gone. She just went in the room where he was. Like, he didn't bother her. You know how you always hear about how the man is always trying to be super. Some men really aren't. They don't want the trouble because females, they just put you in a lot of trouble. This is not worth it. Especially when you get 60. It's just like, I'm not going to try to track you. I'm done with all that. You know what I'm saying? And he was pretty much content with the mom. But the younger the daughter, she's like 22, 23. She's like, I just came in his room one day, bra and panties, just came right in his room one day, just like, let me see it. She was just like, whip it out. Like, you know what I'm saying? So you have that whole paradigm, and that's not the only time I've heard of that. Like, I've heard of these females being aggressive towards older men. You know, I've had that happen to me. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? I've had it happen to me a few times, younger females being aggressive towards me, and like, I'm not in my prime. I can't, I'm just not. Uh, you know, that type of thing is more mental than physical anyway for me. Now I'm trying to get this gut back down, but, should have hollered at me, 15 years ago, but of course you couldn't. But I'm just saying, my drive isn't so much I need to seek out. My drive is this. Take a listen to this. You hear that? Peace. That's my drive. That's what I strive for. This right here. Yeah, beautiful. Nobody barking orders at me. No, nothing. I lived a very violent life. I'm not like I value peace. Like now that I have a degree, I could go out and find a job pay me 60, 70 a year. And I know I could. I could do it. But you know what that's going to bring? Chaos. It's going to bring noise. I have to listen to people. I don't want it. I don't want it. I don't want to do it. My whole modus operandi is to use that degree and build that finance online. So when I get up every day, I look at what my YouTube is doing, and then I think of what videos I can put out that people will want to hear, and and then I look for other ways of brainstorm to try to make money online by using my degree. This way, I can go anywhere in the world and get paid. So that's my modus operandi. My modus operandi is not to work for somebody. I work with you, but for you, I don't want to work for you because I don't want you to tell me what to do. I don't want you to tell me that if I'm not here at a certain time, that I'm gonna, get punished. I don't want nobody lording it over me, a paycheck over me. I want to be able to make my own paycheck, and when I feel like working, I work. When I don't, I don't. So that the independence is really what I'm striving for. Because I don't want somebody to tell me when to go to lunch, when to go on a pee break, and when to go on vacation. You do it. You go ahead and do it. You live that life. I'm just not. If I had a job, I would have like a 5-year plan. I would be working my way out of the job, or trying to. Here's what if I went into the working world, this is what I do. I'd be like, okay, you pay me 70,000, right? A year, 70,000. I go, how much of that can I save? I go, I bet I could live like right now. I don't have a lot of money, so I would look at that and go, okay, cost of living, gas, food, yada yada yada. Huh. I bet I can save $50,000 in one year. Now, once I lived for a couple months getting that paycheck and seen and lived, had a skeleton, you know, a financial skeleton of all that I needed, get to work back and forth, what it cost me, yada yada, and map that all out. That's exactly what I do. I'd be like, all right, I'll play the game for the next 5 years. Play the game for the next 5 years, and then take that and constantly invest in myself. Build up something. Probably get a master's degree. That's the first thing I would do. So if I went back to work and had to do that, I would go back to work and I would go back only to go get my master's degree. Well, not only, but I'd go back, get my master's degree. That way, whenever I wanted to jump to the next level, I don't have to wait for them to give me a raise to do it. I'd be like, I got a master's degree. Then I'd be constantly building up my own thing, either online on YouTube, like I do now. Let me give you some numbers. Okay, so this is how I think. 3 years ago, 3 years ago, I made about $300 on YouTube. On YouTube. When I looked at that, I was just like, wow, I made, you know what I'm saying? I didn't start making money on YouTube until my 11th year. And I made 2 cents. And look, my internet was cut off. I was making videos at the library on my iPad. And I remember my first couple pennies was 2 cents. And I was like, I just made, and I rejoiced. I was like, I just made 2 cents. I used to have to sit outside the library, and it's closed, and make videos. Like that's how dedicated I was, because when I saw that 2 cent, I said I can turn that 2 cent into $2. That was my whole modus operandi. All right, so like I said, 3 years ago I made about $300. Last year I doubled that, and this year I'll double that and some. Simply because my mind is, and listen, like some people are like, okay, that's not a lot. I'm like, it's not the point. It's the potential is what I'm looking at. That's what I'm concentrating on. I'm concentrating on the potential that being self-employed has. It's not so much I only made this, because I rejoice at every dime that I get. Even when my numbers go down, I'm just like, I'm still gonna make so and so today. I'm just like, you know what I'm saying? Because every year I'm making twice as much, and now more. So like that's my whole train of thought. You know, uh, like yeah, that's my, hey, what's going on? Like that's my whole train of thought. What can I make on my own? You know what I'm saying? What can I do on my own? Be independent where I don't have to get up and go do this, that, or third. Now I'm disabled, so I don't get up and go to work. But nonetheless, disability doesn't pay me a lot. You know what I'm saying? So eventually, I'll have to get up and go do something. Now, one of my little hustles, I showed you guys my hustles, refrigerators and stuff, fixing stuff, helping people out, so I get a couple of dollars from that, flipping, stoves and stuff, get a couple of dollars from that. And it keeps me over a certain financial threshold to where I don't really have to go out and do anything. But when that sinks under a certain threshold, then I'm like, okay, I need to go do something for like a day or two. Then I'll go out, do it, get my little money, and I'm good for about a month or two, and then I'll go do the same thing. Now, I can't do what I used to do because my back is all jacked up. But some of the things I can do only for a day or two. You see what I mean? So that's why I'm so concentrated on what could I do online? You know what I'm saying? And I'm always looking at people making money online. But I don't like all the things that people do, super affiliates and all this advertisement stuff. I think it should be simpler. And I try to dumb everything down to where I'm like, I can just add a little fuel to the fire, and, then I can have a, decent return. Because I'm not trying to get rich. I'm trying to be stable. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to stabilize. Like I watch YouTube channels like Tommy Sotomayor, huge YouTuber, uh, had a lot of followers. Then he made some mistakes. He was speaking recklessly. And then he said that he scammed. He said that he scammed people out of their money for the movie that he was going to make. Is called Fatherless America. Everybody was on board. They were giving him money like, make it. We want to see you make it. You know what I'm saying? Um, he took the money and paid like 160,000 to child support. So he scammed everyone. And then he admitted he did it on YouTube. So YouTube made it to where his channels were no longer monetized. He's got like 12 channels. They demonetized all his stuff. And even in the chat when he goes live, because he's always looking for donations, they were just like, nah, we're not going to allow you to get any donations either. So they took a lot of money away from him, But he deserved it because he was scamming people. And if he would have actually did the Fatherless America, he would have got more money, you know. And the reason why I say that is because here in the city I live in, some years ago, there was a young man I knew who used to run track together, the Masters League. And what he did was he created a military school. And he was like, I need teachers and a principal. And he had this whole structure. And he went and rented this building. It was where Sun TV was. Sun TV moved, and he had this whole building to himself. And he was like, "I'm gonna make this a military school, discipline kids, yada yada yada. I'm gonna do all this." And he had a huge plan. And guess who started giving the money? The white people, the school districts start giving him money. He was like, when I went to these people's office, they were like, "Take your shoes off." He said, I was walking on her carpet barefooted and it felt like pillows. That's how nice these carpets were. He was going to these high-rise office buildings, talking to these rich white people, and they were just like, we like what you're doing. See, rich people, white and black and whatever, want to give money away to causes so they can write off what they give money for on their taxes. It's called a tax shelter. They get huge tax breaks for that. So they're looking for things to give and people to give money to that are legit. And they can say, oh, okay, I gave $40,000 to this operation here, and then write it off on their taxes. They're always looking to do this. So he fell right into the right space. So what this clown did, what he did, because I was going to be one of the teachers, he had the whole neighborhood, he had the whole city behind him. You know how rappers say, I got the whole city behind me, and they don't. They got like two or three homies. This dude literally had the whole city rooting for him. Like, go. White, black, it didn't matter what color. They were just like, do it. Because they knew it was going to bring black kids off the street. Because you got a lot of kids who are 9, 10, 11. They don't want to go to school. One, they don't like what they're learning. Two, they're tired of getting bullied and beat up. Three, they have no discipline. Single mothers, you know what I'm saying? They have no discipline in their house. They're just running their mother right over. Tell their mother what to do. I'm not going to school. Now what? And the mom is afraid of them. So they get kicked out of the schools that they're in. So he was like, I'm going to have a military school, and it's going to have nothing but discipline. And these kids is going, they're going to learn. They're going to all have uniforms, military uniforms. We're going to do military exercise. I'm ex-military. So I was like, yeah, let's go. This guy had on BDUs, battle dress uniforms, everything. Everything was legit. He was like, let's go. So what he did was he saw that his idea had legs, and it just took off, and just all this money came out of, and it went straight to his head. So he opened up the school, but what he did was he charged the teachers, because he was like, your salaries, he was like, the teachers salaries they had really great salaries, and teachers are struggling. So he hit the teachers too, and this hurts. So he was like, in order to apply here, you have to pay $80 for your application. $80 for an application. You're paying to apply to a job. And that's when everybody just caught a red flag. Everybody was just like, But you know what? People did it because you have so many teachers who were out of work, and you had and they all saw that huge pay that they were getting, and it was all clickbait. It was all bait and switch. But this guy actually did get a building. He did rent Sun TV. He did open the building, and it lasted for not even a week. Wasn't even a week. The news, everyone was there. The kids showed up. Uh, as a matter of fact, it didn't even last a week. The doors never opened, but he rented the building and everything. The doors never opened, and it was a big, big deal. And when these kids showed up in uniform, these young boys, strong, ready to be disciplined, they was like, yeah, let's go. Like, this is what they needed. You could tell this is what they needed. They showed up gully, like, yeah, let's go. Because if you can burn off some of that energy, you can get these kids to listen to you. So it was the right recipe. It was in the hood. It was just so perfect. And these kids showed up, and the doors were closed. What they did was they took the application money. They took the money that philanthropists gave them. They took all this money and disappeared. I never saw that guy again. Never saw him again. And like I said, I ran track with him when we ran in the Masters League. So I knew him. But he ripped people straight off. And there were white teachers, black teachers, every nationality, they were there. They were behind. You finally had them behind you. You had listen, he had every chance to succeed. If he would have been like, I need school buses, he would have had school buses. I need computers. He would have had computers. I need more desks. I need more drill sergeants. Anything he asked for, he would have got. But he was so stupid when he saw all those dollar signs. Him and a woman. There was a woman with him. Yeah, yeah, it was. There was a woman with him. She was his secretary. They took all the money and bounced. And it broke our hearts because that school, here's the thing about that school. The idea was so good that it would have went nationwide. It would have spread. It would have spread like wildfire because people saw Columbus wasn't the only place that saw what he was doing or heard about it. That's exactly what it was. Because now, if you tried that same thing, everybody thinks what? You're gonna rip us off. It was beautiful. It was beautiful. And I was like, yeah, I want to be a part of this. Never saw that guy again. He did almost everything right, but the money was just too much for him. It was like he hit the lottery. That's basically what it was. It was like he hit the freaking lottery and he dipped. He dipped straight out. I never saw him again. In the news, and listen, we're already hurting. We're already beat up, bruised up. We already got issues. But the news showed up and was just like, this is opening day, yada, yada, yada. And the doors are closed. And these kids that showed up were crying. They had it right on the news. These kids crying. This is national. You're showing everybody how we fall. Everyone. This was not a small thing. Those kids they were in tears. Parents were in tears. They had to, parents were ready to drop their kids off and go to work. They had to recalibrate. It was a terrible day. It was a terrible day, and it could have been a wonderful day. Those doors could have opened. He could have had it all together. He shouldn't have never charged teachers. And when I heard that, I was like, I don't want to be a teacher. I never paid the $80. Not only did he charge teachers, he gave us a PT test. And I was like, okay. He's like, you got to run, a mile, do so many push-ups. And I was like, I was with it. So he had us out there. We was like, yeah, let's go. We completely botched the whole thing. When I heard the $80 fee, I didn't even pay $80. I was like, no. And they were like $80 in cash. And I was like, nope. Red flag right up. I was like, why would I pay to apply to the school? For the salary? Nope. But he knew he was gaffling the teachers because the teachers don't make $60,000 in this school district. I used to date a teacher. I dated a couple of them, actually. But the last teacher I dated, with just her regular undergrad, she was doing $50,000, but she was working in the white area. She was working in, up north area, of the city. She's making good money like that, and she was brilliant. She's brilliant at what she does. Never seen a teacher do the stuff she did. Never. I was just like, you're just all in. Like, this is what she was meant to do. Brilliant teacher. And then when she got her master's degree, that went right up to 60,000. It just, as soon as she got it, because she asked me, she's like, do you think I should get a master's degree? I said, why not? She went a year later, she had it. Because she's just brilliant. So it was just like a walk in the park for her. It wasn't even a challenge for her. She got her master's degree, 60 G's. Just like that. In the black schools, you think they're making 60 G's with a master's degree? Nope. More like back then, You might have, with a master's, you might be doing 40. Even now, even now, in the black schools. Listen, there was a black school, I forgot what it was called. African American school is the only one in the city. What happened is Nationwide Hospital uh, built, they built a whole hospital. They tore down an old hospital, built a brand new one, children's hospital, and then they tore down places like across the street, built a parking garage, and then across the street from that, build something else over there, and then across the street from that, there was the school and a track because I used to run on the track. So they went to the school and said, "Can you hear me? Can you guys hear me?" Can you guys hear me? Can you hear me okay? Am I still buffering? I think I am. All right, I'm going to end it then. I think I'm still buffering. But thank you guys for stopping by. I enjoy talking to you guys. I'm sorry my internet is very slow. And you guys enjoy your day. Goodbye. Jesus loves you, man.